Let me tell you who we are and what we're trying to do here, what we are doing. So we're Rotary Club of San Mateo in District 5150. And what we have is an initiative really that is um, was conceived the role that Rotary plays in our community and the members who make this possible. What does it mean to be a Rotarian? And really, this at its core is the essence of the four-way test. Is it the truth? Well, this is based on science. You know, it's evidence-based science. Is it fair to all concerned? Well, we just saw that we're looking at an existential threat. So I would think that would qualify as being fair to all. Building goodwill and better friendships. That is really what this is about. This is a lot of collaborations, as you'll see in a moment, and will be beneficial to all. And that's our fervent belief is what we're trying to accomplish. I would like to encourage this as a project any club can take on. All you really need is a member who has the passion for it and willing to make this happen. Uh, in in our club, we have the reason it was conceived is we have many community leaders who are members of our club, and I looked at us as being the tip of the spear. We've got civic leaders, public service, not-for-profit leaders, and business community, and we can really draw. We are drawing on all elements of that to then collaborate with others in the community. One individual I'd like to point out in particular, Rick Benia, member of our club, who's a member of the San Mateo City Council, and he's been instrumental in some of the early introductions to our community choice aggregator, the local power supply, electric supply. It's also a tie-in with the labor union that's key to part of what we're doing. The other part of it is being part of Rotary. Doors are open to us. As we've approached most anyone, actually, I don't know that we've not been successful when we've approached someone. So the power of Rotary is just tremendous in making this happen. And you know, it's clearly not my credibility. It's that it's Rotary coming forward. What we are working on is a model for a sustainable community. When this was initially conceived, the idea was to show the world how San Mateo can come out of the pandemic stronger than ever. This is intended to design for the entire community, both as individual homes and local businesses. We do have an orientation towards trying to look at equity and, and making sure that everyone in our community benefits from that. It's just not for the wealthy, because we do have parts of our community that are very wealthy, and we don't want that to be a dominant influence. As we look at really what this is sustainable, Rotary really helps bring together in this project community engagement with an economic model that will be sustainable, and that's a key part of what we're working on. So the core of the project is low cost distributed renewable energy, locally generated and stored. And one of the byproducts, especially has been brought up by what's happened on the East Coast recently, is we have cybersecurity as a part of what is involved in this that ties in with smart grid technology. So that's a kind of a add-on benefit that was not really part of the initial focus of this initiative. As I mentioned before, employment of workforce. If you consider what happened in the 1930s with the WPA and how that was really designed to generate a lot of jobs and economic vitality, you know, it's kind of like the Green New Deal or whatever else you want to call it. It's the idea this is really the future of the economy, and we can do things that are really strong for help, especially helping those who have been disadvantaged and making a difference in their lives and giving them a skill set at prevailing wage and the like. We've been successful in partnering with existing entities. One effort we've made is to ensure that others don't believe we're coming in as the new kids on the block and inventing anything, that we're really giving credit to those who came before us, and they know that we appreciate that we're building on their efforts, and that's been well received so far. We want this to be a repeatable model that others can use and take elsewhere. And of course, this is really leveraging what John's doing with the the Climate Action Network and all, and what we can do with Rotary in general, like-minded individuals. Hopefully, this provides a kernel of inspiration that others can carry this forward. I'd like to give respect to the person who really was my guiding spirit for this, Mac McCown. I met Mac in 2019. We spoke at the Commonwealth Club in San Francisco. Mac, I'd interviewed him for his impact on modern finance. He led the team that developed what's known as index funds. And he's gone on to do a number of other amazing things in the world of finance. But 25 years ago, he started really focusing on taking carbon out of the atmosphere. And he's been recognized with the work he's done up at his home, which is Stone Edge Farm in Sonoma. And I would encourage everyone to go look at the microgrid they have there, the Stone Edge Farm microgrid website. It's very impressive what they've done. I've gone up there with a friend who's at the Hoover Institute, who specializes in energy conservation, and looked at what he's doing. And it really is something that it's been a real leader, and he's been recognized for that. And I really owe him a debt of gratitude for what he's done to inspire this. As we look at the key ingredients, really, what are the takeaways for others to think about? One is that we are looking at how we can streamline the processes, the permitting, financing, site selection, all of the above, in ways that can reduce the cost and eliminate bottlenecks. That is really the key. There's a technology stack I'll talk about in a minute. But the key part of this is really understanding the whole process from inception to conclusion about installing clean energy systems. We are looking at, as part of that, a key element of that is reducing the end user cost of financing. We find that that's a real profit center for those currently installing that, and it's not necessary in the whole process. As I mentioned earlier, we are part of the project is to attract and train green workforce through collaboration. And we're working with the local chapter of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. I have a personal belief that we need to change the economic model of the way people are paid, and liking the prevailing wage is something that's very meaningful and appropriate. We are engaging with community leaders to create momentum, and that's been one of the areas of great success that we've enjoyed. And at the end of the day, this is all about repeating it. Rinse, repeat, scale, and RCAT's really the core of how we hope that we can do this. We're happy to share with any other clubs that are interested in this. How do we pay for it? One of the questions that keeps coming up. And we really don't have all the answers, but one of it is innovative financing arrangements for end users. It's going to be really a core to how most of this is done. We're going to be reducing their costs, and through that, they should be able to, we're expecting them to be able to support this. We've lined up resources to help us with looking at municipal bonds, potentially as a much significantly lower cost of financing. There's potential for grants. We know the state has some programs, as well as federally their programs. There's some private funding sources, as well as the IBEW has a development platform that we can look at. And as John pointed out earlier, this is a lot about collaboration. We have the community choice aggregator, our electrical supplier, Peninsula Clean Energy. They've been key. We've identified a project for them that's in an effort that they're undertaking, and it's a community center in Redwood City, and adjacent to that is a county library, and they're doing a feasibility study on that. I think it's around 200 kilowatts of power that we're looking at generating. And side effect is whether, or a question is whether or not they're going to use that to power some of the vehicles that are transporting seniors to the community center. County Office of Education is interested in what we're doing, is supportive. So I'll talk about all these organizations as being supportive or supporting. It's not that there's a firm commitment, but they're interested in helpful, giving us names, references, and the like. The County of San Mateo has been great, both the Sustainability Office all the way up through the county manager. Another example of Rotary is when I contacted, when my colleague Rachel Meyer contacted Mike Callaghy he was quick to schedule a meeting with us. It's just been amazing how that's worked. We have other groups. The Climate Center is a statewide program that we connected with. Thrive Alliance is a local combination of not-for-profits, and climate action. Rapid Climate Action is really a network in the state that's working on these types of programs, and it's been very helpful. Avalon Technology and Helia Technology are two resources that we have. They're experts in their relative fields. Avalon is in wireless communication, Helia Technology. Jorge Elizondo is a PhD, and he actually earned his PhD while working as an intern at Stone Edge Farm, and he got his PhD from MIT. So it's really credible people that we've been able to tie into. And once again, these are resources that are not unique to us by any means. And this gives you an idea of the extent of what we've built as far as kind of a team of people we've been going through. Mike Harrison is a recent addition. He's working with Modern Grid Solutions. They are a heavyweight in this field. He was a senior managing director, let me make sure, at Accenture for a number of years before retiring from there. Former senior managing director at Accenture. And it's been amazing what he has been helping us come up to speed. And we're looking at some major leaps because of his contributions. So I mentioned earlier, we have Peninsula Clean Energy. Dave Freibush and Peter Levitt are two of their team members who are helping us with this feasibility and looking at other programs that we can do. As I mentioned earlier, Jorge has been, since I first met him, has been a great resource. We have the labor program and the various other parts of it. One of the elements that we're looking at, and I've been coming up the learning curve, is on the permitting process. As much as I want to think that we can just plug in technology, there's a lot more to it. Niles Tanakasubo is an award-winning architect who helps with permitting down in Redwood Shores, the community where I've lived before. And Niles is helping understand and putting together the process so we can work with the planning departments, which is a key element of it. As I mentioned earlier, we have the streaming technology. Photo Notes works in this space with a remote capture technology. So a homeowner can actually take pictures on their cell phone rather than needing to have anybody come out to their site to look at things. Site capture is a vertical integration of Photo Notes. And as I mentioned earlier, we have Ted Walcott with the wireless communication, and one of the leading municipal bond underwriters in the country, Acacia Financial Group, Josh Huberman, I've known for a number of years. These are all part of the people who I've been happy to sign up, volunteer to help us and do what they can to move us forward. And that's been really one of the real success stories that we've had. So that's the story about Energize San Mateo.